I'm going to actually bring out proteins with a trans, and my first flavor is going to be tropical jizz. It's going to be fucking great. I can see it now. Tropical jizz, chocolate malt jizz, strawberry jizz, banana jizz. Oh, this is going to be fucking, oh.
Yeah, if Jack Owak came out with a jizz flavor, you know, bang, and got Dylan Mulvaney, I would say maybe that might be a smart move.
Dave, that was brilliant!
I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
You're fine.
Like I said, do you like my tail?
Like I said.
And we are back for another installment of Iron Rage. I'm Dave Palumbo, joined by a very dark Lee Priest, no pun intended.
I am very dark. I'm a dark soul, Dave. I'm a dark soul.
I heard that you have the... is it true that you have the dark saber now? Did you inherit that?
Yes, yes. I am the dark force. I am Darth Vader reincarnated. Speaking of dark, why is everything in America so fucking racist?
Let me ask you, are you watching The Mandalorian? Do you watch that TV show?
I started, but then I got watching other ones and I forgot I was watching it, so I got to go back to it. So yeah, I think I've watched the first three of the new one. I got to go back to it. But as I was saying, look, I saw that young kid got shot. He knocked on the wrong door. Was that it? Who went to pick up his kids or his brother and sister late at night or 10 o'clock, and this old guy shot him. I mean, it's not even in the news 24 hours, and they're saying we think race is a factor. You don't even know this old guy. He doesn't have a manifesto. What, you think this old cunt just sat there in his chair thinking, I'm going to wait for some end to come to my door today and I'm just going to blast them through the door. I don't even know who it is. But it's like, really? He's had no racist things happen before in his life or been out. And it's like, and then, but here on the same day, a white woman drives into the wrong driveway. She gets shot and killed. It's not on the news. You don't have that attorney Crump going after a GoFundMe page. And then the same day in Chicago, there's about 7 young kids shot by other black kids. That doesn't make the news because it doesn't fit the fucking narrative, does it? White person shoots a black person. Oh, fucking racial tensions. Oh, racist. Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Well, yeah, they skew the news towards the agenda, like you said, that they're trying to promote. So there could be 40 shootings on the same day, and if there's only one where a white guy shoots a black guy, that's the one they make a big deal about.
And that's the thing that annoys me because I think Beyonce and there's like 4 or 5 other big name stars come out against this shooting. Luckily, the young kid survived, but I'm thinking you come out when there's something in the headlines like this, but yet, like I was saying, so many other young black Americans get killed every day. Why aren't you supporting them? Why aren't you bringing attention to their deaths and the gang violence or whatever else is going on in the neighborhoods? But they don't. It's just, well, here's this one case here. It's getting all the media attention. Let's go hashtag this. It's like fucking bullshit.
But isn't that the case with anything? It's like when you, it's like what they're doing to Trump now. They're trying to like, discredit him so that he won't be able to run for president. It's so obvious that all of a sudden when he decides to run for president, all of a sudden all these charges are coming at the same time.
Well, it's like even that whole thing with the Dominion voting thing now where they paid out how many 700 or something million or whatever it is to Dominion because of their false stories about the voting machines when some of the stories were true. You've seen them fudging the votes, but yet how can Dominion go after Fox News for that when CNN and everyone reported Russian collusion? They reported on Russian collusion, this Trump with Russia mixing the votes. When it's come to light, it was all a fucking bullshit. Hillary paid so many million for that guy to do that dossier. It's all been found out to be fake. So why aren't they going after those news stations for reporting the fake news or hiding the Hunter laptop? The FBI and everyone push that to the side. Go after Twitter because they were just banning people. Look at all the shit that's came out about Twitter now. How even the government had access to people's private DMs.
Well, I love how, you know, it's funny because Elon Musk comes out and says, you know, yeah, I paid $44 million for it, but it's probably only worth $22 million. And people are like, what an idiot. What an idiot. He overpaid. Look at all that money he spent. I'm like, you know what? Things are worth what people are willing to pay for them. I mean, look at cars. You know, you're into cars. When a new car comes out, if it's like let's say it's like a special edition Ferrari, okay, and the car costs 250 grand. All right. But there's only a couple of them, and everyone wants this car who can afford it. So what does the car wind up selling for? $275 or something like that, or $280, because people overpay for the car because they want the car. So now, if there's too many cars out and no one wants the car, then they might have to sell the car for under sticker. You know, so it's what people want to pay for something. That's the value.
But in Twitter's case, Haley, in Twitter's case, if in a recent interview, Elon has reduced the workforce at Twitter by 80%. Okay, so 80% of 80% times six-figure jobs, that's a shit ton of money. Do you know that Twitter never made a penny ever in its existence? Not one red cent. Really? Ever. Never. Not once. Wow. So now you got a guy in there who obviously understands business, understands waste. Twitter was a colony. Twitter was its own society in and of itself. It had its own rules, its own morals, its own ideology, and its own chef, and its own store, and its daycare, and all of this fluffy shit. And they produced absolutely nothing but violate people's freedom, freedom of speech rights. Okay, so Elon comes in. This is a stupid fucking business model. This is never going to work. He wipes out 80% of the douchebags that are in there, and some of them left on their own, of course, because God forbid they work for Elon. So now he's got, and they're asking him about it. And he says, it's like a fucking email. How many people do you need, to run Twitter? so right there sits shaving off 80% of the salaries is going to make money. Obviously, his reach is growing and expanding. It's going to raise his advertising revenue. Right. I think he may have overpaid for it in its current state, but for its potential, I think he's going to turn it around and make it into a cash cow.
He does that with everything.
When John said hello, I feel like I should have waved back like Dylan McDavie. Hey, John. Hi.
Have you guys figured
385 days of womanhood. Hey, John. I wanna advertise this new sunscreen for all the men and women out there who want to stay nice in the sun.
No, you can't say men and women. There are
just the ladies. Just the ladies. This cream, putting this cream on. Putting this cream on is like getting a load in the face. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Are you allowed to say load anymore? Is that okay?
What?
So only so long as women identifying as men can have them.
Oh, who knows? At least I won't.
You know who has been paying such close and good attention to this whole thing and has commentated on sensibly and righteously and completely normally. You know who it is? Fucking South Park.
Oh, they're the best. They're the best.
South Park is the only freaking media that has gotten this right, has fed it to the people the right way, and gotten the right, most unanimous consensus out of it is fucking South Park.
I haven't watched it. What have they been making fun of? Everything?
It's like Mr. Garrison is now Mrs. Garrison. Okay, so Mrs. Garrison walks into an abortion clinic. Just, I want an abortion, and she says, "I missed my damn period. I want an abortion. I'm not going out of it. Whatever you got to do, grind it up and suck it out, or just whatever you got to do." And the doctor says, yeah, you don't have a uterus, so you can't have a period, so you can't get pregnant, so yeah,
Oh, no.
you can't have an abortion.
And
Wait a minute, that's $58,000 for nothing?
it's going to be like I said, it's going to be exactly like that scene from The Life of Brian. I want to be thing. You want a what? And then remember, Reg wanted to become a woman. You want to be a what? I just lost my thing. Yeah, it's like
yeah.
It was designed like that way.
Yeah,
little fuddle.
So yeah, so South Park is the only agency that's gotten this right, and actually they've been right on a lot of things. If you go back on it, it's pretty.
They're
amazing.
not afraid to tackle the whatever it doesn't matter how politically incorrect it is. As a matter of fact, the more politically incorrect it is, the more they want to tackle it. You know.
But I think in the fact that it's presented as a cartoon,
right,
makes it less egregious. So you can actually
get away with it. To be honest with you, I really do.
I am too. I mean, they are completely counter Hollywood, but not. It's not like they're counter Hollywood pro the other side. They're kind of just like the way it should be. Yeah. You know, it's just the way it is.
But as I was saying, that I want to be a woman, and John Cleese's like, you want to what? He goes, I want to be a woman, Reg. He's like, what? How are you going to be a woman? He goes, I just feel like a woman. I want to have a baby. He's like, you want to have a baby? He goes, where's the fetus going to gestate? You're going to put it in a box? Don't you talk to me like that, Reg. I can have a They were funny.
Python do something like that too at some point.
Yeah, they did. That's when they were in the Roman Colosseum and Reg
Yes. Yeah, so Dylan, what's his face is you know what that is? That is an example, and this is pretty fucking sad. You have these huge fund management companies like BlackRock, in that category. There's a few others that have tremendous amounts of money under investment in various parts of the market. And they have this thing called ESG, which is environment, social, and governance. And there's a board that scores these companies on how dedicated they are to ESG. And it's just this complete radical left-wing bullshit about how your money is being allocated and invested in. And they put pressure on companies to go in certain directions. There is no way any sane individual, I don't care if my dog Flex was able to get on the phone, he would never have concocted such a stupid fucking scenario that you're gonna promote light beer, Budweiser, fucking American redneck light beer to a fucking fairy. And his audience, and you're gonna think that this fucking mentally ill person who has a million mentally ill followers is gonna like all of a sudden start buying millions of cases of Bud Light to compensate for the millions of cases that Kid Rock and his ilk are machine gunning on the fucking lakefront. Okay, so this is fucking stupid. There's no other way.
You know what they did?
Wait,
John, Budweiser supposedly released a new commercial.
But here's the problem. Here's the problem. You've got these big companies that are deciding where money should be invested, coercing companies like Nike. What fucking woman with boobs is going to buy a sports bra from a fucking mentally ill cross-dresser who has no boobs? Where does that make any sense? Right. So this is, and they're all falling down in this path, and it's all because of this fucking radical left.
You know what, John? I got to interrupt you. People are more likely to buy a sports bra from that Dylan Mulvaney, okay, than a case of Budweiser.
That's the top of the heap. Yeah, exactly.
That'd be like buying a gas oven from Hitler.
Too soon. But
too soon.
But you know what? The new commercial for Budweiser, John, they had to try to find Manly, so they went back to the Clydesdale.
Oh my God, was that ever a fucking fiasco of contradicting terms and analogies? My God, they were able to throw 9/11 in there. They got the horse in there. The only thing that was missing was mom waiting by the window with a fucking steaming apple pie. That was
there it is. There's the Clydesdale.
Yeah, right. The Clydesdale, the Arch. You know, it's unbelievable that he's a veteran himself. They squeezed every fucking ounce of patriotism out of that fucking thing.
And every race too. Every race was in the ad. They covered the spectrum of people. So but I actually like this ad because I identify as a Clydesdale, so I can go out and buy beer today because my horses, my people are in the commercial. I identify as a Clydesdale.
I actually identify as a Gypsy Vanner, which is a smaller.
What about actually? Have you seen lately? I've seen that Riley Gaines doing the rounds. I can't believe the shit she's getting for standing up for women's sports. I said, isn't it a sad day when feminists and that aren't really standing up for women or other women athletes? Actually, men who they say we're chauvinistic and this, more men are standing up for women's rights at the moment than even women are. That's the crazy thing about half this shit. That Riley Gaines has been vilified for just sticking up for women's sports.
Lee, that's a fucking great point, dude. Because where are the feminists? How can women practice selective feminism, which is exactly what they're doing? This is selective feminism, and it's aimed at it's fueled by an ideology that is counterculture. So here is the all-American girl, athlete, Olympic athlete, American, that's as apple pie as you get right there. And she's being thrown under the fucking bus because some fucking freak mentally ill person has decided that they're going to infiltrate women's sports. And the federations are so worried about backlash if they do anything sane, like say, no, you have a penis, you cannot compete with the girls, and say that's the right thing to do. This is fucking insane. It is going to ruin women's sports. Exactly. It's going to ruin women's outlook on themselves. Here you have a fucking mentally ill freakazoid cross-dresser is celebrated as a woman, and women are not supposed to be offended by that? Are you fucking kidding me?
And then too, she on this one podcast I was watching, she was talking about how she talked about that whole locker room where he comes into the locker room and undresses there and he's got his penis out.
She goes about Leah Thomas?
Yeah. And she goes, as girls, we naturally go to cover up because there's a man there. It's just an instinct. And when she talked to the people the swimming association about it, you know what they did on this podcast? She said they gave her a number to call, which is like a helpline you talk to where they try and tell you to be more exclusive and this sort of stuff. And like, they were saying that she was wrong for not letting Leah Thomas, whatever, change in front of them, that they should accept that because he's got a penis and that. And they said it's like what they say, the bathrooms now are multi-sex. So she's like, what? So any man can just walk into the bathroom now and change with us, the girls and stuff. So it's just crazy. And now Leah Thomas too, she just got nominated for Woman of the Year. It's like,
are you serious?
You had Bruce Jenner win Woman of the Year, Time Woman of the Year when he's only a woman for 6. That alone should set women off, because imagine all the great women out there to do things, sporting, medical fields, whatever. You got these great women who've their whole life have been women and done astounding things in their communities. Fucking Bruce Jenner was a woman for 6 months and she gets Woman of the Year. Why aren't women upset about that? A man has become Woman of the Year, and now possibly another man is going to become Woman of the Year, while the real women are just getting pushed aside.
Well, you know what, but Lee, because they want to encourage more men to become women because they don't want any real men anymore. That's the problem.
It's selective feminism. It's exactly
they're not going to award any men any awards, but if you want to become a girl, then we'll give you a ton of awards. It's like when TikTok came out, they wanted to get all the people to steal all the people from Instagram, so they were like bumping up people's view count and followers purposely just to kind of get people. Oh yeah, I want to be on TikTok. It's the same thing. They want to get everyone over to the transgender team of men, so that there's no real men left.
It's being promoted. I mean, look at Biden's cabinet. It's a fucking freak show. The whole fucking thing. Okay, he's got every weirdo in there, every single one of them. and
it's
represented.
It's like a Disney movie.
It's fucking nuts. And not one of them is competent. Not one is competent in what they're supposed to be doing. They have no fucking clue, but they check the box. Gay, pansexual, transsexual, transgender, black and gay, immigrant. All this fucking shit. And it's like, the country's falling apart, dude. What the fuck?
This is crazy. You know, I don't know if you guys remember, but Bill Maher did a great skit. When George W., the son, W., is that W. Bush?
Yes.
Yeah.
When he was in office,
W is the father.
He had a guy as the what is that? What is the top doctor in the country called in the cabinet?
Dr. Fauci.
No, the chief.
Chief medical. I know who you mean. Yeah, the one
thing is like medical officer, isn't it? Or
that's an admiral right now.
Or is it Surgeon General or something?
General, sorry. Yeah. So you had a Surgeon General in there or something like that. And this guy got accused of raping his wife. And he got accused of actually sodomizing his wife. And here's the punchline. He says that he didn't really do it on purpose. He said it was dark and he put it in the wrong hole.
Oh.
That's his defense. Now, Bill Maher did a whole skit on it because the punchline of the whole thing is that the guy is a gynecologist. But he couldn't find the vagina on his wife. And he by accident was doing it in her butt. And so she accused him of sodomizing her.
Imagine all the court cases now of all these women who went for a hysterectomy and they're going to sue him because they had their anus removed.
Wait, back up. Why did he have to rape his wife?
Because I don't know. No, he wanted anal sex. That's why.
He's that much of an asshole. Even she wouldn't fuck him. That's why.
He wanted anal sex.
Wait a minute. Whoa. You got this is way too cloudy. My feeble mind cannot keep up. The guy wants to have anal sex with his wife, and she won't do it. So he anally rapes her instead. Right. And then she calls the cops on her husband for sodomizing her, and in his defense,
I didn't know. It was the wrong hole, but he's a gynecologist. That's the punch. That's how stupid this guy was.
I think it just got to the point where she saw the bank account and she went, "Yeah, it's time to leave." Yeah, he just raped my asshole.
But that was like 20 years ago. Now it's even more comical. They got that.
There's something the other day on the news where there's someone going into cabinet and Biden comes straight out and goes, "I'm looking for a black person." This was like 3 days ago. I'm like, why you got to say that? Why you got to say I'm looking for a black person? Why can't you just say?
He doesn't know what he's saying, Lee.
I'm looking for the best person for the job. If they happen to be black, good luck. Or if they happen to be Mexican or Asian, who cares? Just get the best person for the fucking job.
It's the other way around. It's the other way around. It's the best job for the person. That's what it's fucking identity politics. That's all it is. They are satisfying an agenda. Biden said it before he even got elected. He said, "I'm going to have the most inclusive cabinet in the history of the president." Look at the band of fucking freaks he's got in there. It's unbelievable. One more incompetent than the next. And meanwhile, the country's going down the tubes in every measurable form. And any of these people, are you watching any of this testimony in Congress right now with like Mayorkas he's the one on the hot seat now.
Yeah,
they are just. It's like they won't answer a question. They lie. They completely go around the subject. There's no crisis on the border.
Yeah, I saw what's his name there, drilling him on the border thing and the number of deaths and the kids and that, and he just won't answer. He goes, "I say yes or no answer. Answer the question." Well, no, yes or no. I want to strike down that he's not answering the question, and he gives him all the figures. He goes, "Do you know how many people have died?" "No, I don't know that." He goes, "You're the head of the border. You don't know." He goes, "Well, I'll tell you how many. 800 and something. And these farmers go out and find the dead children on their properties." And he goes, "Such and such. So do you think there's a crisis? Yes or no?" "Well, Sergeant," I was like, "No."
We have a challenge. He kept saying we have a challenge. Meanwhile, in the last administration, there was none of this shit going on.
I know. You see the graph where the red line goes.
But they, right. But they blame all of this on that.
Yeah, Trump.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't care what you guys are saying. What's even more of an injustice is that Henry Cavill is no longer Superman.
Oh,
that
terrible.
to me, you know what? That to me is just shows you Hollywood doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. You know, they got to get some.
The Rock fought long and hard to bring him back, and that's why at the end of that last movie he turned up, didn't he? He turned up, remember, to get what's his name? What movie was
Black
it?
Adam. Black
Adam. He turned up and goes, I need you, or come with me, or something. And that's where he was introducing Henry Cavill as Superman again. And they're going to carry on. But then along comes Mr. Gunn. We're going to squash it. We're going to reboot it from the beginning. It's like, we don't need to go back to fucking Smallville and reboot this because
how many times are we going to see Superman rebooted already? You know,
he's going to be gay and transgender.
He's going to be. I was going to say they got to make him trans. That's why I guarantee you Superman will be a fucking homo.
The new Flash preview looks great with Keaton as Batman again. Where he goes, I'm Batman and stuff. Right. But then have you seen Supergirl? She's like short, black, dark hair. I'm thinking definitely going to be a lesbian because Kara, Superman's cousin, whoever, was blonde-haired, white girl. This girl looks darker, short, black hair. And somebody was saying, that's what Jada Pinkett Smith. She's doing a whole thing on Cleopatra because she's so into Egyptology. Fucking hell. But now she's like got this thing out. She's doing like this documentary series where Cleopatra was black. She was a strong black woman. It's like, no, she was Greek heritage. You can go back to after Alexander the Great and the Greece and that, where she's depicted in statues going back thousands of years as being Greek. But now Jada Pinkett's making it black. You got Anne Boleyn, that queen from back in France, played by a black woman. Why is it that you can do that? You can take real life characters who are white, make them black, but heaven forbid you get Liam Neeson to play Martin Luther King or fucking whatever. Oh, the fucking world would go fucking nuts, wouldn't they? Oh,
you know what's worse, Lee, is that Jesus was black, and they won't portray him. They won't portray him so. They portray him as white. When every single solitary indicator is if this guy really lived at the time that he lived, where he lived, he was fucking black. Okay.
I just don't get why Hollywood does the whole. Look, if it's a fictitious character, fine. Well, James Bond was a white English thing. If they made Idris Elba Bond, I think that's great. I couldn't care. But why is it always we've got to take white characters, white, strong men, either make them black or turn them into women characters? Why don't we go Shaft or Blade and make them a white guy? It's never this way. It's always the whites going this way.
Do you know what's really amazing about the race part of it aside, the gender, specific to the gender issue, is that how many transgender people are there in America? It's about 1 million to 1.5 million. Possibly, and if you take out of that, you have to consider just the confused Gen Xers or Gen Zers or just who are going through a phase that are just playing along with social media. But the true, transgender trans people, it's about 1 million, okay, or maybe less. That's a tiny as 330 million other people in the country, So why are they getting all this attention? What this minute spot on the evolutionary scale is making so much noise and getting so much attention that companies like Disney are caving in and all over the place. And they're not only caving in, but they're freaking absorbed into this thing where they're actually promoting it and are part of this whole demasculinize America, for the good of the world kind of thing. Right. It's really fucking weird.
Did you see where Gillette, when they lost their $7 billion in sales? Because Gillette used to be that manly ad of the best a man can get, but show your man doing manly things, getting married, having kids and that. And then they went to that real woke one where it was like Gillette and the young kid would come home from school being bullied and his mother had it's okay, like this whole woke ad. They lost like $7 billion and they went back to what they did originally. But did you see what's his name? Now here's something that almost made me sick, and people are getting called homophobe, transphobe. Sam Smith on stage doing his song dressed in his little tassels on his nipples and like posing trunks. Have you seen that, Dave?
No.
Look it up. Sam Smith, the singer, comes out on stage dressed as like gothic devil or something, but then he unrobes and he's just got on a little pair of posing trunks, fishnet stockings, and tassels over his boobies. And I'm thinking, mate, first he was transgender, then he was gender fluid, then he was gay. Every day he's something new, but it's like Elton John's gay and he never fucking went on stage naked to sing fucking songs or whoever. It's like, why? See if you can find it, because people are going mad. I'm thinking, even if you're a straight man and you did that, I think it's disgusting because you're fucking obese. See if you can find it. Sam Smith on stage, the pictures. Oh my God. He's actually got, what gets me is though, he's saying he's a woman or whatever, but then he's got his nipples covered. He has big man breasts on him. So it's like,
oh, it sounds attractive.
Yeah. Oh, Dave, find that picture, Sam Smith. Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah. Now that's not his undressed one where he's.
I don't want to see the undressed one.
Now Kim Jong-un has this up on a giant screen right now in front of 100,000 people, and
him and Putin are laughing.
Right, and he's pointing out to all the the young North Koreans. See, this is your American enemy. This is how strong they are.
And it's like we've all said. I don't think anyone who's against the. No, that's not it. Just find the latest picture of him.
I just thought that was pretty funny too.
That's like Greg if he never stopped.
Just put up Sam Smith latest on stage thing where he's. But what gets
I don't want to see it. I really don't want to see it.
Oh no, you do want to see it. The thing is that anyone who's against like the trans in sports and everyone that I know, they don't care if someone's transgender. No one cares. No one cares what you do with your life. It's just about being fair in sports. And stop pushing it down people's throats, because I remember they had a thing on not long ago where actual trans people, I mean, like when you I have to probably distinguish and say real trans, because right now we have this group that I'm trans today, man tomorrow, non-binary this day. Real trans that, like I said, have got to a teenage years and said, you know what, I do feel more woman. They go see their doctor. They go see a psychologist for maybe a year or more. For this transitioning they're going to make is a life-altering experience that they have to live with. So they've got to make sure that this is what they really want. These people don't like these wishy-washy ones that are coming out now, because they're like, that actually takes away from the suffering of what we had to actually go through to make this change. And they're not into carrying on like that, because now they live their lives as real women. They're not out there saying, look at me, I used to be a man, now I'm a woman. They're just a woman in every sense of the word. They don't need to go out and have a banner over their head. I was once a man, now look at me. The real trans people, they don't even like what's happening with these fucking wishy-washy ones who are so woke and gender fluid one day and this the next day, and that girl over there who's a cat. That's where you know the sickness is bad.
You know what the irony is? The irony of this all is that the bodybuilders might be the last refuge of real men, because we're on so many fucking hormones that masculinized that we might have to save the world eventually. It might come down to the bodybuilders, the last
maybe
manhood,
Maybe next you'll see a skit on South Park, or the bodybuilders hopping on a train going to a camp somewhere.
like the Jews, they're gonna exterminate us.
We're gonna go to concentration workout.
You're too masculine. Hold on, we're going to take your body weight and arm measurements. Oh, you're too muscular. Off you go.
But
they'll be loading Nick Walker and all these guys, big Rammy into the back of a dump truck.
Whereas before, Hitler wanted the big 6-foot blue-eyed, type of guy, the Aryan race, to be thing. Now it's like, okay, you're feminine, you're safe, you're too masculine.
Yeah, now it's the opposite. Now they want to kill all the people who are the ones they were killing before. Now they want to save all those people.
Yeah, but Hitler was dark-haired and dark-eyed, so figure that one out. So the leader of the Aryan race.
He had a fantasy. He had a fantasy, John. He had a fantasy.
He must have one. In all seriousness, though, I really hope that this boycott of Anheuser-Busch and Budweiser really, really cripples them. Just like the left is rooting for Dominion to destroy Fox News, I am rooting for the good old rednecks of America to destroy Anheuser-Busch for doing this retarded move and stop. Hopefully, for the purpose of warning companies to stay the fuck out of everybody's business when it comes to this gender shit. We don't want to see it. I want a beer. I want a beer. I don't want a beer with a fucking freak on the label. That's it. That's bottom line. And more people think like I do than you do. And unfortunately, this whole thing is not only a process of pressure from ESG and all that other bullshit, but it's also driven by this executive, this chick that made this decision. Oh. She's Wharton School of Business, I think Yale or some other, Ivy League graduate, Harvard or Yale or whatever, Wharton School of Business. This is the product of far left liberal learning institutions. This is what they're churning out. They're churning out this person who thinks that they need to make a difference, and they're going to do that by dismantling a 75-year-old brand because they think it's too fratty. What a fuck, all of that schooling and all of that, what an indictment against Wharton School of Business. You produced that fucking idiot and you charge how much a year for tuition? You fucking kidding me right now? Did I bet you Trump is really proud of that, his alma mater.
Did you see the photos they released of her when she was at college or uni where she was blowing up condoms and drinking beer and all that? Yeah. She was one of those fratty kids. She's blowing up condoms. But even when she come on and she's all expressive, I thought to myself, what a great idea this would be to be inclusive. And I'm thinking, well, okay, they always say too, we want to be inclusive with women and that. Then what's wrong with using a real woman? Get some woman who's done something on the beacon, some sportswoman or someone who's actually accomplished something, fucking sailed around the world by herself. Put someone who's actually done something.
Well, because this is the
John, listen, here's a good analogy. It would be like taking, all right, pick the quintessential person who's marketed bodybuilding, gear or clothing or like. Or what would they have? Like, what was probably the most popular ad campaign of all time?
Jay Cutler.
Like Jay Cutler on a Muscle Tech ad. And instead of Jay, they're going to use a trans woman to try to get more people to drink protein shakes. They're going to take Jay off the ad. I mean, it's the same thing.
It is, and it's because this is why I'm saying this is an indictment on the education system. She got into she went through Ivy League school, into Wharton School of Business, into the workplace, believing the delusions that they taught her in university. Okay, her reality is diluted. That was not a good idea. Okay, taking a trans person and putting them on a Bud Light bottle was not a good idea. The fact that you thought it was a good idea is proof that you have been lied to through every dollar's worth of education that your parents took out on you to put you through those fucking schools. You got all the way to the end of the road and you are a fucking idiot.
It's and like that is use a trans to sell an F-150 truck.
I like your idea. I'm going to actually bring out proteins with a trans, and my first flavor is going to be tropical jizz. It's going to be fucking great. I can see it now. Tropical jizz, chocolate malt jizz, strawberry jizz, banana jizz. Oh, this is going to be fucking. Oh.
Yeah, if Jack Owak came out with a jizz flavor, bang, and got Dylan Mulvaney, I would say maybe that might be a smart move.
Dave, that was brilliant. Right? That was brilliant. Stop the presses. That was brilliant. Bang.
You'd be like,
Jack, are you watching? Bang, jizz, and you put Dylan Mulvaney. Dave, you solved all the problems. You found the drink. You found the person to put on the label. You found Lee. You got to come up with this.
And the good thing is, it'd be good. It'd be better than Gatorade because the salty content would be so much higher you won't cramp.
Oh my God.
You can have a pineapple precursor flavor to improve the end result.
This is great. And let me tell you, the chocolate fudge flavor smells like shit, but it tastes good. All right.
Jack, we just came up with 3 flavors of Bang for you here, bro.
Right.
I mean,
And
come
the
on.
name too.
See,
The
that
name
would
Bang
not
is
cost the
perfect.
market share. That would be more inclusive. He'd get much more
It
business.
would solve all the problems. It would even solve Jack's financial problem. It would, if he has any. But
He'd
I mean,
steal all the market share, right? Of all the trans people he'd have.
What a better use of a
And on the tin, you could probably just have 2 asses banging together. Bang. Like that.
And they could call it ass juice.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, but the first one was the best one. That Bang, jizz flavored, and the pineapple precursor. Yeah, you got to have that one too.
Yeah, that's the marketing. It'd actually sell well, I think. On a nice, you could do a nice rainbow colored tin and everything. It'd be fucking great.
And Jack is just the guy to do it too, right?
Jack is. I hope he's watching because somebody. If you know him and he's not watching, make sure he sees this. Jack,
John, text him when you hang up here. Tell him we have a brilliant idea.
Rainbow.
Tell me what a penny on every can. That's all.
I just want to fucking Mulvaney off the beer label.
We'll have the rainbow tin and a unicorn, but the unicorn has Dylan's face.
With a big cum splat on the eye.
Instead of the big horn here, the horn somewhere else.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, we live in a really, really messed up world right now. I don't even know. I'm scared to see where it's going to go from here, John. It's kind of it's scary because you know what? We make jokes about this stuff, but it's getting more insane. It's not getting better. It's getting worse. You know, even though people know how demented what they're doing is. You know.
Can you imagine what Logan is going to be dealing with when he's our age? If this shit persists, I mean, we won't have a society anymore. I mean, if this keeps going,
Logan in 10 years, we'll call him Logan for now, but Lucy in 10 years' time, she's going to have a wonderful life.
The Roman Empire, they said it would never fall, right? And they got so lazy and so lackadaisical about everything that the barbarians that were surrounding them, who had no power compared to them and no technology, just converged and took them over because they had nothing. They couldn't stop them anymore.
You know why? You know why they took them over? Because like Caligula, the men were fucking men. Everyone was having orgies. Yeah. They were too busy fucking just like Sodom and Gomorrah or whatever. When
they were like crashing down. They lost their drive to be men again and be the greatest empire. They were like just into like weird fucking partying shit, and they got lazy. That's like the United States. I feel like we're losing ourselves.
Well, where's actually, when you think about it, I don't like him. I don't mind not seeing him. But really, when you think about it, Biden and Kamala, you don't really see much of him. And the whole time he's been in, how many times has he really answered questions from the press like Trump would do all the time? I think maybe you could count on one hand how many times he's actually.
Speaking of Trump, I was watching someone put together a compilation of Trump responding to the press. And these people were asking these really like questions, like they were trying to and on December 23rd, you said this and this and this. He's like, you know what your problem is? He goes, you're the worst reporter in the world. He goes, that's what the problem is. Like he was just insult. It was one insult after the other. He goes, that's why you work for the worst newspaper. And they've gone down the tubes. They went from being the greatest newspaper of all time to the worst. And you're on the staff. That tells it all. You know, he just was blasting these people. Like if he didn't want to answer the question, he just insulted the shit out of them.
He'll go like you. He'll go, you. No, not you. You're fake news. You're fake news.
Sit down. You're fake news. Sit down. Sit down.
He goes, you know what your problem is? He goes, you're rude. He goes, and I wouldn't invite you to my house. That's for sure, because you're just a rude woman.
And then remember the time he made fun of that one where he's like, nah.
He doesn't care. He's the greatest. You cannot like rattle Trump. It's impossible. He knows how to handle himself. He can. And
that's why I don't get why people don't like him, because he's just like everyone else. He says what's on his mind.
Yeah.
He's there for the better of the country. He runs the country like a business, like it should be. He puts America first. But yet before he was president, everyone loved him. He becomes president, puts America first. He's suddenly racist. And before he come on, John, we're talking about how the race cards come up again with that.
Because he's interrupting the agenda. You said it earlier, Lee.
Yeah.
They don't want the agenda interrupted. No. They don't care if he's on TV. If he's on TV, he's harmless. But if he's running the government, no. Now you're fucking with our business. You know, we don't want that.
I saw what's her name on TV the other day. What's her name? She's from California. It looks like she's almost dead. She was sick, and now she's going back. Was it Feinstein? Diane Feinstein?
Yeah, Diane Feinstein.
I'm like, fuck me dead. Fucking retired, bitch. How old are you?
These people won't leave till they're in the grave. Especially the Supreme Court's the worst with that. They only die.
It's all they're all that. Look at freaking Nancy Pelosi, and she can't even talk without her teeth falling out of her mouth. And
Maxine Waters,
another one. Maxine Waters is just going to collapse into her folds, into her wrinkles.
You would think these people would bow out, you know, while they're on top, but they can't. They got to go. They will not leave until they're either terminal or dead.
They die in office. They die in office. In office.
Well, remember, the last year or two of their reign of their life, they probably weren't even doing anything. You know.
Well, Biden doesn't even know where he is, for God's sake. Like
and he wants to run for president again. That's the funny thing.
He doesn't know if he wants to run for president.
He's the only one that could stand in the Oval Office and get lost in a fucking corner. That prick, fuck me dead.
No,
put him in a round room.
The government want him to run for re-election, because it's like, imagine having a boss who isn't really your boss because he doesn't know what's going on, and you can do whatever you want all day long. That's what the government's like. They're like, he's not going to say anything to anyone. He doesn't even know what's going on. Give him a lollipop and put him in the corner. You know,
it's all a distraction. Okay, all of this Dylan Mulvaney social bullshit stirs everybody up, and it's a distraction. It's a distraction from what's really going on that's affecting everybody. Like the amount of fucking money they're appropriating for stupid shit, the money they're losing, the money they can't account for, the money that gets stolen, the money they send to countries that hate us, the fact that we have veterans of the United States of America living under a bridge because they're homeless and mentally ill and not cared for, while we're doing all this other stupid shit. And look, we are so fragmented, so scattered, and so divided. There is no coming back from this. It's never going to go. This pendulum is swung off the fucking clock. It's not coming back. So something radical is going to happen. I personally think we're going to have a war. We're going to have a real live war.
With who?
That was Jimmy calling me. Jimmy the Bull just tried to call me.
Oh, he's been trying to rattle you. Now that he's trying to get back at you.
He just sent me something weird.
It's like what John said. I'm not sure who it was. It's either Tucker Carlson or the other guy. One of them was saying over the last few weeks, and they were bringing up Dylan and all this stuff that we're focused on, but they actually showed you what's really happening. The money that went to overseas here, something in Ukraine that they tried to hide over here. The list was this long of actual worldly events that Americans should know about that are important, but yet they're focused on the Budweiser and all this other trans bullshit going on. That the real shit's just like, here, push that out the back door. No one's going to fucking see it.
You know, the big thing brewing right now is the U.S. dollar's position in world markets as the world reserve currency. And that has been under attack, and it's now even more ferociously under attack. And you only hear about these military, acts of aggression, drones being shot down and balloons and bullshit. That kind of hides the fact that the real issue is Saudi Arabia is selling. Russia is selling crude oil to other countries, and they're paying for it in Russian money, when they're supposed to be paying for it in dollars. And the same goes for Saudi Arabia, and other countries are having countries like Japan pay for their crude oil in their national currency, when the world reserve currency is reserved for that purpose. So if this keeps going on and the U.S. loses their status as the U.S. reserve, as the world reserve currency, we are overnight fucked. That means we can't print all the money we print now. We can't do it if if our dollars are not in demand. We're not in the world reserve currency anymore. Our dollars are no longer in demand. We're fucked. So While you're worrying about Dylan Mulvaney and what beer bottle she's on, the real things that are going on that are going to be a catastrophe if happening, this just being one of them, okay, is going on, and you're not even paying attention to it.
Do you think that's why they're going to go to like a world currency, like a digital currency, because that would erase all that, obviously?
Well, it's funny because I watched they showed you Putin, I think the Japan leader, and somebody else are all meeting up to talk about changing the dollar over, and then it had the guy from China. He brokered some peace deal with, was it Iran, somewhere there, and somebody else. It's like more news you never heard about, that the guy from China brokered a peace deal between these two countries that have been each other's throats for years and years and years. So yeah, but look at, and it's always funny when you talk about that dollar too. Look at the countries that tried to get away from it. Wasn't it like Gaddafi and all them? He tried to get away from the American dollar and he got fucking done. And who else was there? All these people that have tried to get away for some reason, they get assassinated or killed.
We're very good at killing other people, Lee. So that's over here in the U.S. So thank God for that. At least we could do something right, you know.
Why can't the other countries be good at killing a leader? Like someone be sent in to take out Biden. He wouldn't be hard to get, would he? Actually, he might be, because you'd be lining him up on your scope.
We still have the best weapons, Lee. We spare no expense when it comes to making weapons and planes.
Imagine a sniper trying to get Biden. He'd have him in the sights going up the stairs, about to pull the trigger, and Biden slips. You'd be like, "Oh fuck, I missed him. He fucking slipped." You're like one of those comedy skits. The assassin keeps missing him because Biden's so aloof. He'd be walking this way. The assassin goes to stab him. All of a sudden, he turns and goes that way. Oh fuck! I missed him.
You know, unfortunately, like for incompetent people, like social media and is not good for them. Like Biden, if Biden was around in the 80s, probably no one would realize how fucking nuts he is and how demented he is. But he's too exposed nowadays with social media, and everyone's filming every move he makes, walking up the steps of the Air Force One, and you know, he slips on the stage. There's always someone with a camera on this guy. So
waving to nobody, shaking hands with nobody.
Reagan was toward the end of Reagan's reign. Wasn't he pretty messed up? He was pretty Alzheimer'd out, wasn't he?
Yeah. What about some of the Bushes?
But no one knew. No one really knew.
Well, it started with Bush almost, when Bush would come out with those famous sayings that just didn't make sense.
Well, he's just an idiot. But the younger Bush is just dumb. That's all. But Reagan was actually, had Alzheimer's, and they hit it pretty well because, there was no social media. They just showed him when they wanted to show him, and that was it,
But even with Alzheimer's, Reagan made more sense of what Biden does. So how far gone is Biden?
And Biden was around in the 80s.
I know.
He's been around forever, but he's been guilty of plagiarizing, lying, stealing. I mean, he's the most worst example of human being to where I always say this: people in power who seek power are dangerous. It's the people who end up in power by no fault of their own are the good ones, But if you are actually power hungry and go out and seek power, you are a demented individual, and you will definitely be on the evil side. And it's been proven time after time after time after time. So there's no argument.
I just can't believe that with all the evidence they have with the Hunter Biden laptop, with the emails, the Hunter Biden's brother, emails from China, the money trail, how that hasn't come before Congress and been looked into
in the United States, they suppressed it all, Lee.
You don't think, if that was Trump, though, imagine that role reverted. That was Trump.
Well, because they don't want Trump in there. They want Biden in there, so they're going to defend his, whatever they got to do to keep him.
But how can you defend that? How can the American people sit there and go, my God, how can we defend this when they have all this evidence? And they're just like,
reason Dylan Mulvaney's on a Budweiser can. All right, Jimmy, you got 5 minutes to rant.
Jimmy tried to call me.
Jimmy, that's a beautiful crease you have in your hand.
Yeah, we're wrapping up the show here. You got 5 minutes to rant. What's going on?
Hey, look at the little
working.
That all set up there. That's nice.
What does he got?
Jimmy's office.
Yeah, I never saw your office like that.
No?
No. It's beautiful.
He still got his shot. He still got his shot from last week over on the desk.
Do you still have it?
I talked him into you doing it. I talked him into doing it.
Jimmy, you got a shade for that window in front of you?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, the glare off of that poster it's killing, but you can't see the poster. You just see this big glare. That's good.
I don't get him involved in changing the room around, John.
But this is good. This memorabilia. Nobody ever sees this stuff.
Yeah.
Could you see the poster, John?
Yeah. That's I know that poster well, but
that's Jimmy's feng shui. Jimmy, very good.
Look, there's Lee.
There's me, Guardians of the Galaxy.
I need pictures from you, John, and Dave. I want to put them in my office.
Yeah, you have no pictures of me up there. I'm insulted. I have your picture
You got to send me. You got to send it to me.
I have none of you guys on my wall.
Yeah. It's not like you can put the dick pics up and people are going to know who it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So I got to say, what do you think about the new law that was passed in Florida?
What new law?
Governor DeSantis, he just passed open carry, man. You could carry like the Wild West on your side.
Oh,
good for him.
Did you hear about that?
No. I didn't hear about it. Now I did from you.
Oh, yeah.
Now some other white guy's going to shoot a black guy. They'll say it's racist and all due to the open carry law.
No, that's even more the reason why I want to, come down.
Well, no one breaks into houses in Florida because you get killed if you do that. Everyone knows that. They shoot you,
Yeah, same where I live. You don't. Yeah. Everybody's got at least 10 guns here.
If you're going to break into a house, do it in New York. Bragg will let you off, no problem.
There you go. They'll let you go for free. No bail. I mean, nothing. They'll say, okay, can't arrest you. Sorry.
This summer they're going to have those robotic dogs in Times Square. They're going to be running around.
I saw that.
What's that? Yeah. What robotic dogs? I didn't hear that.
You want to flip out? I'll tell you what robotics dogs. Go to Boston Dynamics.
Boston Dynamics.
I think they're going to put
Boston Dynamics. They make the most high-tech robots that exist, and the video they do of Twist and Shout. They got the robots dancing to the Beatles. It's unbelievable.
Did you see that Elon Musk did that interview where he talked? Elon Musk did that interview where he talked about AI, how it's going to be dangerous and stuff, and he started that company years ago to keep it under control, but now he has no control of that company anymore. Yep. And Microsoft and them do, and he's worried that they're getting shit together. He goes, it's going to be fucking disastrous.
Because the AI is lying to us. They're teaching it to lie.
Did you see that photo? Did you see that photograph
go.
that won some photograph this photographer put in some award show and it won, and he had to come clean and say, I didn't take that photo, it was AI generated, and it won some big prestigious award.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're gonna release those this summer. There's 3 different robots they're gonna release.
Yeah, Dave's on the website right now. Watch it.
The it's on that website, John?
Boston Dynamics.
I gotta look at their products. Hold on.
All I see is my ugly head.
I'm sorry I missed the show, man.
I don't see any dogs though.
Type in Boston Dynamics Twist and Shout.
They're dogs?
Wasn't that a 60? Wasn't that a 60 song?
There's like 5 different robots, and one of them was like a dog.
Wasn't that a 60 song?
Twist and Shout. Yep.
Who sang that? What's his
name? The Beatles.
No.
Yeah. Wasn't it George Harrison?
I thought it was
Paul McCartney.
No, you're thinking of Little Richard or someone, another song.
Yeah, that's all. Right.
You're thinking of throw your hands up and shout. Chuck your hands up and shout.
Is that what I'm thinking about? I see me and Lee on the same page. Right, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but they're both on the wrong page. There, that's it. Watch this video. It's insane. Too bad you can't hear it. Freaking
I don't want to play that.
Yeah.
Who says white robots can't dance, huh?
Oh, look at that. Man.
There's no tether on this thing. This is just freestanding. Wait till you see the animals, the animal ones that come out.
So he's dancing right now.
Here, look.
Yeah, those are the dogs? They don't have dogs.
They're going to release those in Manhattan, man.
Yep.
To do what?
And the subway.
To do what, Jimmy?
They're going to they're going to police,
Patrol.
you know,
Security.
patrol. Yeah, you can do anything
Security.
wrong. Yeah.
What do they do? Bite you?
Give you electric shock.
Shoot you.
Laser.
They're going to shoot you with paralyzing spray.
I think they have the capability of shooting and stuff. Yeah.
Really? Oh, that's scary. Now we're getting into like Terminator. Like,
Maybe we should. Maybe we should go
these
watch.
things are like, you know, pretty mobile for robots.
Hell yeah, they are, man.
Very, very agile. Yeah.
We all need to watch iRobot again.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, well, Will Smith. Yeah, there's 3 robots they're gonna release. That's one of them, and then there's 2 other ones. One looks like R2D2. What's that from Star Wars?
R2D2.
Yeah.
What's the matter?
Huh?
You're in far too good of a mood. You're waiting.
It's been working from 3 a.m. to like 3 a.m. in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. Jimmy's been on long hours. He's in bed.
Well, it's obviously agreeing with him because he's in a really good mood. He's very pleasant and, quite frankly, kind of boring.
Well, I gotta say, I just woke up, John. I get up 1 in the morning and I worked till 2 o'clock this afternoon. I came home, I said, let me take a little nap, and I just got up like 4:30. I was like,
don't turn into a fucking victim. You got to get out of New York. It's killing you.
I can't. It's killing me, man. I'm gonna try to go to the gym now. I gotta drag myself there.
John, you know what? Let's not waste our breath on this conversation again. It's a waste.
That's right.
I gotta wrap up anyway, John. You gotta go. It's an hour. You said you only had an hour today, so Jimmy, sorry,
just woke up.
We only caught the end of you, but
he's happy. He's
but
happy
we love you,
woke
Jimmy.
up and
I'm glad I got to see your smiling face.
This Bud's for you, Jimmy.
All right,
yeah. I'm gonna drink one now.
Go have a bang jizz flavored from Dylan Mulvaney.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah. And call us in the morning. All right.
I'll take a shot. All right.
There you go.
Take a shot in the meantime.
Thanks for joining us,
too
guys.
Much masculinity. Too much.
We'll be back again next week. 4 men, not 4 women. Same bad time, same bad station.
4 men. 4 men. It's a new movie. 4 men and a tranny.
John, here, final question. Of all the people that we do like after hours with and this show with Iron Rage, who do you think will be the first person to tell us that they're turning into a woman of our group? You think any of them?
Greg Latino.
The core? Us? The core group?
Yeah. Of all the people that we do the shows with, who's the first RxMuscle person that's going to say, I've decided, guys, I don't want you to be let down, but I'm going to become a woman. Who do you think will do it?
Out of all of us, probably John Bravo. Only because of the hair, and really, it's because we are such a masculine group, that you really got to dig hard.
Sure, we are.
I can tell you one thing. It ain't going to be
not. So, Johnny,
that's
be the
original,
not an
John.
insult. What?
It's not going to be the original us.
No.
That's
never
going to happen.
No.
We're
I'm going to go
hopelessly
out
men
on a
for the
limb
rest
and
of our life.
say, I'm going out on a limb and I'm going to say Mr. G.
He would be a terrible woman.
He's going to be surfing. He's going to be surfing in a bikini. He's going to be.
He would be
never,
high
in
maintenance.
spite of the fact that he wears feather boas, makeup, and bakes cookies, I say absolutely not.
He's a mains train. He's a manly train.
Did you wait? Speaking of Mr. G, did you notice yesterday when you was talking about pro hormones and he didn't know what they were, and he said, or peptides, and he didn't know what they were? He said, "What is it? A powder?" Did you know? Do you notice that he asks that about everything? Is it a powder? Do you know why? Because he wants to make cookies with it. Look at the peptide pretzels I'm making now. So it's
actually, I actually
everything is it a
He
powder?
should make some Ozempic muffins. Maybe people will lose a few pounds on them. These things.
Before you go though, I did learn. Do you know how you make a hormone?
Kicker.
Kick her in the cunt.
Don't pay her.
We were doing so good, and then he had to demonetize us at the very last second here.
What, you think that's the first time I used the C word in this show? You haven't been listening.
Jimmy, I love you. Lee, we love you. John, we love you. See you again next week, guys. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Iron Rage.